So next, we're going to talk about the process that you take to select a disaster recovery architecture for your organization. So there are really two different terms that we need to know when we're considering our approach. The first is Recovery Time Objective, or RTO, and the second is Recovery Point Objective, or RPO. So let's take each of these in turn. First of all, we have Recovery Time Objective. And what we need to note here is that Recovery Time Objective is about time, and it's about our systems being back up and running. So this is defined as the time that it takes to get your systems back up and running to the ideal business state after a disaster recovery event. So for your organization, you might have a standard that says, if we have one of these significant events, we need to be back up and running within 8 hours. That would mean that your RTO is 8 hours. But we also have another term, and that is Recovery Point Objective, or RPO. This means the amount of data loss, in this case specified in terms of time, for a production system during a disaster recovery event. So what this means is, let's say we have our production system that's tracking our orders for our company. We might say that our recovery point objective is an hour. That means that we might lose data for an hour when we have one of these significant disaster recovery events. But by the end of the hour, we are back to receiving full production data. And so this is defined in terms of time. And it's important to remember that recovery point objective is all about data, whereas recovery time objective is all about time. Now let's look at this in terms of our different scenarios again, and this is the visualization that we've already seen. In both RTO and RPO, we're going to see the least of those values when we're looking at multi-site. But as before, that's going to mean that we have the highest cost. With backup and restore, we will see the least cost, but we will also see the highest RTO and RPO. And then with Pilot Light and Warm Standby, you can customize these based on what your needs are in each of those specific areas to determine what systems need to be up and running. For example, with Pilot Light, you might choose to have key production databases up and running with a smaller scale in the cloud so that you can decrease your overall recovery point objective.